But you know what? No better way to get things going than with Jennifer Adams. She's a home designer who shot to fame with her bed and bath line that made her, look at that, a Costco cover girl. Jennifer is joining us live. Good morning, Jennifer. Thanks for being here. So impressive how you reached this point in your career. Tell us about it.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for having me. I grew up from very humble beginnings, like many of you did. I grew up cleaning houses, no education. I went to a 6-week trade school for interior decorating, and I did everything out of fear because I didn't want to go back to having to clean houses. So I took odd job after odd job. And a friend of mine really taught me about the power of dreaming big and the power of my mind. So, really, the biggest thing that helped was a major mindset shift in determining okay, if all I had was true potential, then what would I want my life to be like? And I started living with intention as opposed to just taking odd jobs and making people's beds out of fear. And that was
Jennifer,
really
this is so inspiring. I love to hear your personal story because so many people, myself included, are in the middle of a reinvention, particularly right now in this economy. People are trying to figure out how to become more entrepreneurial. So, I love that you just shifted your mind and it really helped. Give us some tips. I mean, how
it.
can people do
It
that?
It made a huge shift. So basically, a lot of times we live our life just going through emotions. If your day feels kind of like Groundhog's Day, it's time to say, okay, if you were to dream big and not somebody else's dream of a fulfilled life, but if you truly thought, okay, what is going to make me feel fulfilled and happy and start writing things down. So, as opposed to just rushing to something, sit down and get very clear on what will give you purpose and passion. I looked at my day job. So after my 6-week trade school, it looked like I had the world by the tails. I was doing interior decorating, but I was bored out of my mind. I did not want to pick out another paint color. I felt like I was drifting. And so I looked to clues from my current career and said, okay, these are the things that I love. I loved the communication part of the design process, but I didn't like the implementation, which is kind of critical if you're doing interior design for somebody. So I looked for clues. I actually dreamed very big and I looked at like Martha Stewart because she was impacting people's homes, but not actually going to their home and not implementing the design. So I started looking for clues to other people's career paths. And mind you, this was years before I spoke a word on TV, before I wrote a book. I knew nothing about product development, but I started dreaming really big. And then if somebody else is trying to do this, once you get very clear on what it is you want in your life, write it down. It's so important to get those thoughts out of your head and
Mhm.
onto paper. And you
Yeah.
don't need to know how you're going to get there at the beginning. It's really important just to have this the end result. And then you can break it down into manageable pieces,
Yeah.
just like
Jennifer,
chunking it down like step.
I just want to stop so that we can reinforce what you're saying
Okay.
in terms of dream big and write it down, and that helps with the manifestation. That's such an inspiration, Jennifer. We really appreciate you telling
It,
us that.
Yeah, and don't let fear hold you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you don't necessarily know what you're doing at
Right.
first. Yeah.
Be
So,
brave.
yeah, be brave.
Be brave. Make it happen.